When I was little, my dad used to tell me, Eric, if you just shut up and listen, maybe you'll learn something that you don't know already. And you know what? That's not exactly true, because my dad was a gentleman and he never told me to shut up. But he told me sometimes in life, sit back and listen to what other people have to say. Ask questions. Find out about them. Learn something different. Learn something that you don't know and put it to use in your own life. Welcome to Interview with Eric Martin Kopp. I'm really excited today to have my guests because in today's world, with everything that's going on, I mean, between the mainstream media and the newspapers and the internet and everything that's going on, where do you find peace? How do you find peace? And basically, when your mind is all struggling, to find that peace, it's hard to reach out for the word prosperity. My guest today, Joel Solomon, he is a master prosperity coach. He helps others overcome obstacles standing in the way of their financial freedom. He's an award-winning speaker, workshop facilitator, and frequent television and podcast guest. He's been quoted in the Wall Street Journal, Newsday, U.S. News and World Report, and interviewed in Forbes and on Bloomberg Radio. Chara. Chara is a mama, a mystic, and a master of holding sacred space. She's the creator of Soul Path Yoga and the Dream Life program, and a global inspirational best-selling author and facilitator. Joel is also a best-selling author, by the way. I want to welcome to the show Joel and Chara. Guys, welcome.
Eric, thanks so much for having us. It's a distinct pleasure to be here. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Chara to say her last name for me. Chara, if you would say your last name, please. Say your last name.
Yes, I'm happy to. It's Rodriguera.
Okay, that's why I didn't want to screw it up on the introduction. Joel already warned me about that, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to introduce you guys, and then I'm going to say, how do you say her last name? So say it one more time for the listeners, Chara. Say it one more time.
It's Rodriguera, and I'm still learning how to spell it. If I don't say it in an exact sequence, even I forget how to spell it.
Well, here you're going to be. You're going to be Chara and Joel. How's that? Is that good?
That's perfect.
Okay,
perfect.
Good. Now I'm going to go ladies first. All right. I want you to take me back. All right, Chara. I want you to take me back. Give me a little bit of brief bio on yourself. Give me a little understanding of who exactly Chara is, if you would.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take you and your wonderful listeners back to when I was struggling, to when I was filled with anxiety and fear. I had stomach aches every day. And this started back in elementary school. I did not have any tools or foundational practices for stress reduction or relaxation, or even having trust in myself and my gifts. And I was really struggling. I struggled through childhood. I struggled through my teenage years. And as a young adult at about age 25, I was really ready for a nervous breakdown. So someone mentioned yoga. And I thought that sounded weird. I didn't know anything about it. But I took my first class with an amazing teacher, Claire Diab of the American Yoga Academy, who is still one of my mentors. And in one of our first classes, she invited us to breathe, and she taught us how to breathe deeply. And for the first time in my life, I felt a wave of calm. I felt as if little rays of light were coming into my heart and into my being. And so yoga was the doorway that I stepped through, the gift that I was given that began my new learning, my new education on foundational principles and tools and practices that help us to live with greater awareness, greater peace, greater ease, greater inspiration, and maybe most importantly, greater love. And it's been a 25-year journey. I just turned 50 years young this past year. So for 25 years, I have been a student and a teacher of yoga, meditation, mindfulness, and inspired living. And my passion, my purpose, my desire, my intention is to help anyone and everyone who wants to live with greater awareness, skill, empowerment, and love, to share practices and principles and programs that can help them do that. In our Peace and Prosperity program that I am so blessed to co-facilitate with Joel, he has been like an angel that has come into my life. And I am a student of Joel. He is my master prosperity coach. And since working with him, new levels of abundance have been coming in. And so as we got to know our complementary skill set, it was a natural fit to create this amazing program, life-changing program, Peace and Prosperity. And what we help people do is go from fear and lack and anxiety toward peace and prosperity and abundance and financial freedom.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna interrupt you for 1 second because I want to say something to you and to the listeners here that it's, a lot of people out there don't realize that the power that we have within ourselves, within our own minds. All right. And I'm listening to you, and I'm a perfect example because a few years back, all right, when I came out of the military, I struggled with panic attacks. I mean, pretty severe panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to the VA, all right, the doctor that I sat in front of didn't even look up, just basically wrote me a prescription for, medication. Yeah. I never took that medication. As long as I had the pill bottle in my hand, or I knew, my wife would say, "Do you have your pill bottle?" It's in the glove compartment. I was good. But the bottom line, it was a teacher. It was something that I was given, all right, by a teacher, that the words, "This too shall pass," and an understanding that we can control our own minds. I've never had a panic attack since then. I've never taken the medication. So I want to say something to the listeners, as Chara is saying here, is that no matter what you're dealing with in your life right now, no matter what struggles you're dealing with, you have the power from within. And when you have people like Chara and Joel that can come into your life, as you can hear what Chara is describing as Joel, and we're going to get to Joel in just a second. All right, the bottom line is when you have people like this that can bring something to you that can basically turn it around and change your life, this is something you need to hear. That's the bottom line. You need to hear this. Okay, you need it. It's knowledge is power, and with knowledge comes understanding. That's what I was taught. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to share that, Chara. So did you?
Absolutely. Those are such great points. Thank you.
You're welcome. And now, of course, we have Joel. And Joel, I have to a master prosperity coach. Define that for me. What exactly, for the listeners out there that some of them probably don't understand the word prosperity. Give me a little background on Joel. Take me back and define that as well, if you would.
Well, I can define it first, Eric, and then get into my background. So first of all, a master prosperity coach is someone who is going to teach you how to shift, as Chara said, those feelings of fear and lack and scarcity to prosperity and abundance. So number one is mindset, and you guys both already alluded to it. But generally, the mind will tell us, work harder, try harder. And that really makes you feel exhausted and depleted and frustrated. And this is really reflective of an old paradigm and belief system. And rule number one in my bestseller, The 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use, is when you believe. And so one of the things we're doing is we're talking about belief and belief systems in week one, which, by the way, is absolutely free on January 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And of course, by the way, Peace and Prosperity Now is online on Zoom, and it's you can get the link on my website, which is SALAURMOR.com. That's salamor.com, which is my company name, named after my daughters, Lauren and Morgan. So why did I become a prosperity coach, and why am I teaching people how to change their mindset, as well as teaching them about investments and financial freedom and how to improve their credit score? Well, I I had lived and achieved my dream, my first dream actually. My first dream was to be a money manager, to be a hedge fund manager, and I achieved that dream in 2008 working for Citigroup. And
You did quite well with that. From what those of you that I'm not going to get too deep into his bio right now, but check out his bio. I mean, you did really well with that from what I saw. That's I
in
applaud you for that.
2008, some of your listeners may remember the stock market was down 40%. I was managing only financial companies, banks, insurance companies. They were down 57% in 2008. And we managed to make a few percent. We were up in 2008. And 2009, we made more money. And I probably would still be working at Citigroup to this day, but a law was passed that said banks can't own hedge funds. And so they shut us down, the whole group. And I had to find another job, which actually gave me the kick in the butt to do what I really wanted to do, which was to have my own hedge fund. And so I started managing money for large institutions and high net worth individuals in 2013. And less than 3 years later, I went to a personal development course, which changed my life. And the main reason it changed my life is they had a guest speaker speaking about stocks and stock options. And when he started speaking about stock options in particular, he made it sound like this is the way to get rich. You don't need much time. You don't need much money. This is how the rich people get rich. And options are essentially riskless. I was sick to my stomach. There were 200 people in the room. There were people tapping me on the shoulder, whispering in my ear, Joel, does this make sense? We went outside after he was done, and I said, please don't do this. First of all, he has no idea about your assets or earnings or cash flow or tax status or risk tolerance, but most importantly, he has no idea about your belief system if you can become rich using stock options. I went home that night and I couldn't sleep. It was 3:30, 4 in the morning, and I realized if I could ever get up the courage to speak in front of 200 people, because my biggest fear 5 years ago was public speaking. And whenever I had to speak in front of more than 2 people, I brought pieces of paper and read them while they were shaking in front of me. Not the most prolific and motivational, inspirational speaker, but I didn't want to freeze. Anyway, so I said, if I could ever get up the courage to speak in front of 200 people, I could be authentic and teach them truth as opposed to mislead them. And some may say even lying to these people. So I literally went into my office on 54th and 6th Avenue in Midtown Manhattan early that morning and sent an email to my investors telling them I'm giving them their money back. I'm shutting down the fund because I found my true purpose. And I spent 2016 shutting down my hedge fund. And so for about the last 4 years, I've been teaching the secrets to lasting peace and prosperity and financial freedom.
So basically, Manhattan, that fast-paced environment of New York City in the financial world, initially, let's say going back to the 70s and the 80s, where it was glorified, become rich, become a stockbroker, or financial consulting and all this other things, and you were living that lifestyle, and then all of a sudden, you found peace, and you found a way to be able to combine peace and prosperity together, and walked away from that. To say that you can, listeners, listen to this. I mean, the man walked into his office one day. He's doing quite well, and he sends an email to his investors saying, "I'm returning your money. I found a better way to live." That's commendable. It really is. Because a lot of people don't walk away. A lot of people spend their lives, in an environment or in a world where they're not happy. They don't find peace. They don't find prosperity. Prosperity, folks, is not coming home every week and just handing a paycheck to the wife or putting a paycheck in the bank and paying your bills. Prosperity and peace comes from enjoying life. There's a story about a man that passed away, and on his tombstone, all he has is the word content, because And the story that his wife tells is similar to what Joel is telling, is that during his lifetime, he was leading a lifestyle that he was not happy with. And he wanted to be content with his life. And he wanted to spend the rest of his life being happy and secure. And he did. You can change it. You can turn things around, folks. You can. No matter what you're doing right now. You have two people here that have described their situations to you and talked about their past history to you and shared their lives with you. And they're saying to you, the best, I'm going to say it like this, the best way to get where you're going is to have somebody that's teaching you or showing you the way that they got there. Use a roadmap that is proper, and Joel and Chara have done that. So what better way to be able to turn your life around if you are struggling, and I know a lot of you out there are, all right, than to learn from two people that have the knowledge to say, let us guide you there. Am I on the money here, guys? Am I on the money? Joel?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's my true dream is to help as many people as I can become financially free so that they can live the life of their dreams and not have to do a job where they're so unhappy. I remember when I first got the job at Citigroup and I was commuting from up here in Westchester and I had to go all the way downtown near Wall Street and it took me over an hour and a half. And so we need to get in around 7:30 in the morning. I'm on the subway before 7 a.m. going downtown from Grand Central Station. I look around the train and no one has a smile on their face. Everyone's so upset. They don't want to be up this early. And I'm looking at my BlackBerry and smiling and I'm like, oh my God, this is such an awesome day. I'm actually getting paid to do this. This is incredible. And I want everyone to have that kind of life where they wake up and they're excited, they're joyful, they're living the life of their dreams, and they're having fun doing it. And that is what financial freedom is all about.
What do you say to someone that says, that's great, Joel, but I don't think I can do that. I don't think I have it in me. What do you say to somebody?
Take our class. At least sign up for the first week. Very first step is your belief system, right? And so we're going to work on mindset, and we're going to make you get to a point where you absolutely know in your heart of hearts that when you're doing what you love and having fun, you're going to make massive amounts of money doing it.
I think
that's what you were put on earth to do.
Absolutely. I think it's about habit changing too. It's a matter, in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey talks about changing habits. If you're dealing with a situation right now, and Chara, you can chime in here. Are you there? Chara, you still with us? Chara? Did we lose Chara?
She's on mute right
now.
She's
up there. Yes, there you are.
I think it naturally put me on mute. So, but yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. The bottom line, folks, is that the way we live, we develop habits, and some of the habits that we develop are toxic to us, and we believe that we have to continue in those habits because that's just the way it is. And what they're talking about here, and the first class, and I'm going to say the word again, is free to you. All right, is belief systems. In other words, believing in yourself. So the question I posed to Joel was, okay, what if somebody says, I don't think I have this in me? Well, then you don't have the belief in you that you can change, or that things that you are dealing with right now that you are struggling with that you want to change. Correct, Joel?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Chara, if you want to chime in.
Chara, what do you have to say?
Yeah, no, I so appreciate everything that you're saying. I completely agree. And if there's an openness or a willingness or a desire to take a step, that's really all you need, is the willingness to take one step to begin. And I believe we all are great creators. We all have unlimited capacity to create. I believe this because we create through our thoughts, words, actions, beliefs, and energetic vibration. Plus, we have life flowing through us. We have the creative spirit flowing through us. When all of those things, thoughts, words, actions, beliefs, are all going toward what you want, peace, prosperity, abundance, joy, then you start creating a state of being, an energetic state of being. You start going in the direction of what you want to create. Most of us were never taught that we are powerful creators and that we create through our thoughts, words, actions, beliefs, and vibration. We were taught you work hard to create. And if you want to make money, you have to do certain things, or certain jobs make money and certain jobs do not. So many of us were given all these limiting beliefs that affect our thoughts, words, and actions. And therefore, we're not using our power all in the direction of what we want. It's our energy, our thoughts, our creative power is being scattered all over the place. Most of the time going toward fear, over effort, lack, scarcity, all the things that Joel mentioned. So this course is an opportunity to learn Joel's 9 unconventional money rules to create the mindset, the belief system, a state of being, the ability to put all your power going toward what you want instead of what you don't want. And it's a process. It's a lifelong process. Your life is a lifelong creation. And most people are not using their creative power effectively or in an empowered way because they've never been taught to. So that's why this program is very unique, because it's not only about dollars and cents. A certain dollar amount is not going to necessarily give you peace, because once you get there, you're going to feel you need more. Once you have a certain amount, you're going to need more. So while the dollars and cents and the finance of things are important, and that's one of Joel's many skill sets and areas of expertise, this is so much more than only dollars, only checking account, only bank accounts, only investments. It's about your creative power to put in the direction toward peace, prosperity, abundance, and financial freedom, instead of toward where it's been going: lack, fear, over effort, struggle.
Absolutely.
So as Joel said beautifully, it's a whole new paradigm. Whole new paradigm. And the great thing is, if you are just beginning, if this is all sounding new to you, this is going to be a glorious stage of enlightenment and awakening of new possibilities for you. And for our friends, for your listeners who have been on a path learning some of these things, maybe they've heard about present moment awareness, maybe they've heard about vibration, maybe they've heard about belief systems. Wherever you're starting from, then you're going to take it to the next level. Because as I said, I've been practicing all these things, but I had a lot of limiting beliefs about money. And since I've been working with Joel, learning from Joel, new areas of prosperity have been opening up, and I feel on a whole new level. And then each time we run the program, I rise up to a whole new level. I learn new things. So it's an ongoing process, and this is going to give you an incredible foundation for a new way of thinking about your finances and your purpose, your passion.
Absolutely. My son is 37 years old. He's an iron worker in New York City now. He's working. They're the people that actually build the skyscrapers. He sends me videos of him standing on pieces of iron with no walls or floors, and 50 flights up, they're actually building Facebook's new world headquarters on 9th Avenue and 39th Street. And he came home one night, and he was tired from riding the train every day and the cost of the train ride and everything like that. And he said, "Dad, I have a friend of mine. He does this thing with Amazon. He makes all this money, and why can't I do something like that? Why do I have to ride the train every day and deal with this and deal with that?" And I said to him, from my experience, I said, "Brian, do me one favor. Just ask him one question. Ask him if he's happy." And he said, and he came back to me a couple of days later, and he said, "Well, I asked him." And I said, "What did he say?" He says, "Well, first he said, 'Yeah, I'm happy.'" And Brian told him, he said, "Well, you don't sound happy." And then the guy finally shared with him. He says, "Let me tell you something." He says, "Making money is a headache." He says, "I might have a lot of money." He says, "But I don't have a lot of time." He says, "I might have a lot of, he says, people pay me to teach them how to do this." He says, and nobody's happy. You have to have a common balance, folks. You have to have a balance between peace and prosperity. And that's what these two individuals can bring. The class itself, the course itself, um, you have nothing, absolutely nothing to lose, but something to gain. All right. The first class, they are investing their time in you from their experience for free. That doesn't happen, folks. In this world, everybody wants money. Everybody wants to get paid. That doesn't happen. So what I'm asking you to do, and I'm saying to my listeners right now, all right, is if you have in your mind that you need a change, if you have in your mind that you are not experiencing peace, if you have in your mind that you might have money, but you are not comfortable with the way things are going with that, you need to attend this class. You need to at least attend the first class. And if not, you need to talk to Joel and you need to talk to Chara and tell them your story and listen to what they have to say because, again, the roadmap is here and the people that wrote it are there. That's the bottom line. So, guys, if you could tell them, give them information on how they can sign up for the class or when the class, give them the information, one of you, either Joel or Chara, if you would, please.
Sure. Thanks, Eric. So I also wanted to point, so the class starts January 26th, Tuesday night. That's January 26th, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And you can sign up on my website. That, again, it's SALEURMOR.com. Also, joelsolomon.com. That might be easier. JOELSALOMON.com. I also wanted to just mention all the bonuses you get when you take the full course.
Good.
So I'm going to give you guys, anybody who signs up for the full course, you get a free one-on-one session with me. You also get a free one-on-one with Chara. You'll get a free book, The 9 Money Rules. Actually, sorry, 2 free books. You'll get Chara's Love Sacred Poem book. By the way, it's just so much enlightenment in that book. It's just incredible. So you'll get her best-selling book Love. You'll get my 9 Money Rules Millionaires Use. And as Chara said, this is a journey. The journey doesn't end after the 9 weeks. So I'm going to give you free access to my private Facebook group called Financial Freedom Can Be Yours Forever. So you can ask me a question any day or night, 24/7, 365 days for the rest of your life. You have access to me. I think that's a pretty special bonus.
So in other words, I can call you, like I can reach out at like 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm not sleeping and I'm worried about something. I'll be sitting on the edge of my bed going, Joel, Oh, all kidding aside, that's great. That really is. I mean, the resources that are being offered here are the value of them is just extraordinary, folks. It really is. So, again, you wanted to give them, you told them about the bonuses and everything like that. So you go to the website one more time. Give them the website, Joel, one more time.
Yeah, it's www.solomor.com, SALEURMOR.com. You can also just call me or text me 917-520-8703.
Now I know there are going to be people out there that are going to be a little skeptical and things like that. So I'm going to say this to you: if you have any questions with regards to the course, or first off, the flyer of the course is very descriptive, so you'll be able to see exactly what it is that they're offering. And again, let me just put it this way: this is not a sales pitch. All right, not by any means is this a sales pitch. This is a reach out. This is a reach to you to say, people are struggling, and in the year 2021, all right, you need to find the peace in your life. All right, so that's what this is about. This is not something that, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not a business opportunity. It's something personal to each one of us, all right, that they're offering. And once again, if you have any questions, the telephone number is there. The biographies are there. You can read and see exactly who Joel and Chara are and why they have the ability to be able to offer to you what they are doing. That's the bottom line. All right. And again, you got to take that step. If you're in that rut and you're struggling, take that step. Move forward. Okay. Go to the first class. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And I guarantee this: once you go to the first class, you're going to sign up for the rest of the classes. That's the bottom line. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to be at the first class because the two people that I'm talking to right now, all right, on both sides of the table here, all right, have something to offer me. All right, because my life, and Joel can attest to that from the time we met, my life sometimes is so rushed. And then I'm so rushed with everything, and I myself want to find peace and prosperity. So I'll be there. That's the bottom line for me. I'll be there too.
Chara, did you want add anything else? I think from my perspective, Chara's centering just sets everybody up.
Yep.
It's an amazing, the words that come through her are just so calming and peaceful. It gets you to a point where you're ready to take the steps of the 9 money rules, the unconventional secrets that millionaires use.
I went to Barnes and Noble, and I asked the manager, I said, what's the most popular section in your bookstore? And he kind of laughed and stepped back, and he looked at me, he goes, self-help. And I said, why do you think that is? He said, why? I said, why do you think that is? He said, look at the way the world is. Everybody's looking for the answer. Everybody's looking for an answer. And I think you guys got it. I think you do. Once again, Joel, the website address, if you would, so they have it.
So it's www.salamore.com, SALEURMOR.com.
I'm going to ask you two guys also on the station here. Once you move forward and everything like that, I'd like to invite you back. All right, once again, to maybe share some of the little tidbits and secrets that you guys have to my listeners as well. So if you guys would do that in the future, that would be great. And once again, guys, you can go to their website, check out everything, and do what you have to do in order just to make that Tuesday night available to you. All right. Like I said, you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. I want to thank Joel. I want to thank Chara for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. It's an honor, and I look forward to talking to you guys again in the near future. All right? How's that? You guys
Thank you,
good?
Eric. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thanks, Eric. Great.
Thank you, Joel.
Awesome.